Are you looking to invest in your franchise and it's early on the process to make a decision if you want to go single unit or multi-unit? Well, this decision can greatly impact your future earnings, your level of risk, and above all, the amount of involvement that you have in that business. My name is Joe Salsa, and I am a partner at Friendship Consultants, where we help individuals look for, research, and eventually invest into purpose-driven franchises. Today, our topic is multi-unit, single unit, which one's the best for you? So what is the main difference between owning a single unit and a multi-unit? Well, on a single unit, it's one operator, one location. So these are usually known as owner-operator models. So your involvement and your presence is required, and you are limited to one territory, and you have the chance to do a lot more hands-on work within that single unit. With a multi-unit approach, you become more of a leader of several locations. The approach is a little different because you don't necessarily have to be present at these units, and you become more of a leader in the sense of finding good operators for each of these locations, and your involvement is actually making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. So in a nutshell, in a very simple way, a single unit, it's almost like a job with a much better leverage and much better earnings potential, where a multi-unit, you're acting more as a business where you have several components that you have to be coordinating on a daily basis. How about the lifestyle and the time commitment difference between single unit owners and multi-unit owners? With single unit owners, you have a lot more involvement in your operations and the day-to-day involvement. So this is usually common for people that are transitioning out of like a corporate career. They spend many years in corporate career and they're transitioning into business ownership. This single unit approach is usually recommended. Also, with single units, you can have a lot more connection with your end customer, which is something that with multi-unit, it's not as common. With multi-unit ownership, you usually don't get as involved with the day-to-day operations of your franchise, and you tend to spend more time in the more complex side of the business, such as dealing with internal conflicts, finances, and above all, really training and being a leader to your operators and making sure that they have all the tools and the skills that they need to thrive. Also, you spend a lot more time into planning the growth, because usually if you are a multi-unit franchise, you want to keep adding units to your portfolio, and a lot of your time will be growth and expansion and how you can get to a certain metric. Investment range, risk, and potential upside. On a single unit, your initial investment will be a lot lower than a multi-unit approach, and also your total risk will be limited to that single unit. So that's one of the upside of single unit investment, but also your total potential earnings are locked into that one single unit. So there will be a cap that if you look back into the item 19 of that franchise disclosure document and you see the top performers of that franchise, you're going to see that that's going to be likely your cap if you stay within that single unit. How about skill set and personality fit? For single unit, on top of enjoying following a system, because at the end of the day, it is a franchise, so that's one of the reasons why you invest into this business in the first place. You also want to enjoy the day-to-day operations, being involved into that business. So that's a great skill and personality fit to have if you want to be a single unit owner. And you also want to have a more predictable ramp up. You want to do your pro forma, you want to talk to existing franchisees and your franchisor and have a more predictable ramp up that you know that by month 6 you should be here, by month 18 you should be there. You should break even at a certain point and become cash flow positive, and that's a lot more predictable when you actually have only one location. Now, multi-unit ownership requires a different kind of skill set and personality fit. Multi-unit owners, they usually think a lot as investors. Their mindset is usually, how am I going to grow this into additional locations? And they do that a lot by fostering good relationships with operators and making sure that these operators are doing what they're supposed to do and being a leader and mentor in a lot of ways. So each of these locations can do well and then replicate that into different areas. So what is the best growth strategy for you? Well, in my personal experience, if you are a multi-unit candidate, you would know, and there will be no questions in your mind if you should be going forward with multi-unit ownership. If you're questioning if you should go with a single unit or with a multi-unit approach, my personal recommendation is start small. See with the franchisor if you have an option like a right of first refusal in some areas, so you can start with one location, you can run it for a year or two, you can truly understand the business model, and then when the time is right, you can buy into additional territories and expand. Now, some franchisors don't like the idea of giving right of first refusal to franchisees, where others, especially emerging brands, they don't mind at all, which means that by the time that you are ready to grow, you have the option to go and select a predicted territory that you agreed before. And if the franchisor have someone else interested in that territory, they have to run by you and make sure that you're not ready to move forward with that territory before they sell it to somebody else. And that's it for our video today. Remember, here at Friendship Consultants, all we do is to help individuals find and invest into purpose-driven franchises. We are experts in single unit investment, multi-unit investment, and our services are completely free of charge to our candidates. If you want to learn more, drop me an email, joe@friendshipconsultants.com, or check our webpage, friendshipconsultants.com. See you next time.